and how you think about it. And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
What's up, everybody? We're getting started here in just a couple seconds. Hope you're all feeling good. These markets are ripping. Let's get this chat going. How are you feeling? Are you bullish? Are you bullish between now and Sunday? We're going to have some chop tomorrow. We're going to talk about it right now. Hope you're all feeling good. Hope you're all looking good. Let's go ahead and get it. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I have a second window open somewhere. Not sure where, because I'm hearing a double audio and I'm not sure why. Leave. Give me 1 second. There we go. Awesome. How you guys doing? Markets are doing good. We got to talk about what's going on here because we have some really bullish things that we're going to be going through today. A lot of really great charts. And you know what? We rotated out of we took some profits on Aerodrome the other day. I shared it in the BitLab Discord. And, you know, we rotated some of those profits into Velodrome, which is that optimism DEX. And it is absolutely ripping. And you know what? I'm going to be, I think, adding a little bit more money to the market today. What are we going to be looking at? I don't know. Maybe we can do that research together. Also want to do some Polkadot, TA, Ocean. We got to look at Fetch. We got to talk about this coming alt season because whether you believe it or not, the markets, the altcoin markets have already provided such incredible gains. If you all have made any money in the altcoin market, throw a 1 in chat right now. If you're watching later, let us know. And I want to know, what are 3 of your top performers in the altcoins that you have been riding so far? Let me know in the live comments right now. And also comment down below. And everybody, you're here early, so I want each and every one of you, if you're here early, you get the benefit. Drop in some of the coins that you want to see some TA on, and I'll try and get to as many as possible before we wrap up the stream. And shout out to Ben Simmons, says, Tia, ICP, link. And people have been loving that. The ICP has been ripping the last this last few days. Atropine was the first one in here. Alexander G, how you doing? We got the family here. We got Sean Perry in the house. He said Ava, Chainlink, and Arrow. Big love to each and every one of you. I think it's time. Let's just dive into it today. You know what? I don't want to talk a lot about randomness. We got to get into these charts because the market is trying to provide. And if you are taking advantage of what's going on with these charts, and if you're tuned in here on a regular basis, I'm actually curious. Don't put it in the live chat. I want to challenge each and every one of you while this is live. Comment down below this video. Is there any project that I've put on your radar or any trade setups that I put on your radar that has made you money? Let me know in the comments below this video. I'd love to see that. It obviously helps, and you can put it here in the live chat also. But we're dropping some alpha here in the over this last year, but this last 3-4 months, we've been really providing some really great calls and really calling things out. Ondo is one of those great ones. Yes, absolutely. But let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about what's going on here because we are doing some beautiful things here. Look at this chart. This chart is telling me it is trying to do everything in as possible to move to the upside. Now, it's not just going to go straight up. We always want, let's be honest, we're always waiting for that move. We are always waiting for this move that just absolutely rockets to the upside. But we're not always going to get it. Sometimes the market needs to work its way up there. But this is doing some beautiful things. This is doing so beautifully. It looks very reminiscent. Let's go out to the daily chart and come back over here. I shared this on the Discover Crypto stream, but I want to share it with you guys here as well, just to point out something. This is looking very similar to what went on here back in 2020 when the market basically came up to the previous all-time high and essentially got held here for a short period of time. Got held at this level under basically people taking profits coming into the previous all-time high because it's still part of that mentality where people are, larger accounts, smarter money that has bought much lower starts hedging themselves and essentially taking profits into the strength of the trend because there's no guarantee it's going to continue. Back here, we still had a lot of regulatory uncertainty, and we also didn't have institutions like BlackRock and Fidelity and you know, Michael Saylor with the MicroStrategy, and so much capital that's been flowing into this space. It's really just been giving an absolute vote of confidence. And so we saw this under the previous all-time high, and it took about 31 days, you know, roughly. So let's call it 28 to 35, somewhere in there. And when we get to where we're at right now, this looks very similar. If we zoom, if we kind of make this like, let's say, make it look like the size like it was when we were looking at the 2020 cycle, it's looking very similar here. Let's take off all of the drawings and everything, and we can see it's looking very similar here than it did right back. This is that same area right here, right? It looks very, very similar. Of course, this is much larger because we have more monetary energy. There's exponential factors, logarithmic, all the things here. But what this is giving us the same sort of price interactivity. And instead of being under the all-time high, we are chopping right through it. This is when we were below it, 62, coming up into it. We went way beyond it. Now we came back below it. Now we're coming back, you know, technically right now, we're still past the previous all-time high of $69,000. Now we have a new established all-time high, but we're chopping right in that zone of that previous all-time high. These are the main levels I'm looking at. And we can see if we extrapolate 32 days, let's say 30, let's say 25, there's 25 days, which were already eclipsed. We're at 25 bars. So 25 days. If we come out here to even 40, which puts us right next to the halving, within this time frame, we're doing essentially exactly what we did in the previous cycle when we got to that huge number of that previous all-time high level. So it makes sense that we have a little bit of chop here. In addition to this, we have some really big news that we want to get into, and then we're going to dive back here into the TA. We're going to be talking about Render. We're going to be talking about Link and Fetch. Where's it at? Fetch here. Look at this, just ripping to the upside. AGIX, Ocean, Velodrome, which is absolutely ripping. We've been sharing some absolute gems with you guys. Not when it's in the middle of the move. We've been telling you all here, sharing you, especially in the BitLab Discord, letting you know this, you know, right when I'm making those moves, keeping you in the know of what I'm doing, and also coming here on stream and giving you guys this free content here on the BitLab Academy live stream. Letting you, it's not going to be always exactly up to date here on the live stream, but I'm sharing it there in the Discord. I'm letting you all know exactly what I'm looking at, why I'm looking at it, and when I'm adding or removing or changing things in my portfolio. Not everything in my portfolio is going to be an absolute winner. And some of the things that I really like aren't even in my portfolio. I really like Quant. I just sold Quant and basically took on a higher risk with some micro cap coins. And sometimes you have to make that decision what's right for your portfolio. Don't just follow what I'm doing. Take what I'm doing as an insight in terms of the strategy and what I'm doing. And if you do your diligence and you like this project as well, then you hop in. But let's go through some of these stories. We got to talk about it. The ETFs, look at this, massive swing to the downside, came back up. These institutions are basically rotating very heavy back into the market. 243 million net inflows for Bitcoin yesterday, March 27th. A total of 11.8 billion of Bitcoin has been bought since the start of the ETF. Kathy Wood's ARK-B had the highest ever day of $200 million in inflows on their ETF. So we're seeing that buying pressure come back in. In fact, if we come over here to the, not this, where is it at? The BitLab, the Bitcoin strategy platform, ETF tracker, we can see, we can see that this has oscillated way negative back to positive, and we're essentially right here at the equilibrium point of what this average daily flow is, which is what this line is right here. So we're still very positive. It doesn't mean we're going to stay positive. We very well could go negative on these flows again. But we're at some point in the near future, we're going to get to a point where those ETF outflows on grayscale, which is really what drives these negative flows, when those essentially get to the point where those people stop rotating out of that capital or stop selling, or they change their management fees, it's something, whatever that is that slows down their outflows, we are going to see incredible buying pressure. And we can tell when we're looking at what's going on, because this right here, and by the way, everybody, I interviewed Mark Yusko yesterday, my favorite mind in the space. I like him more than Michael Saylor. He's the CEO of Morgan Creek Capital. If you all watched the interview I did with him about 6 or 8 months ago on here, throw a 1 in chat. He's one of my favorite people in the space. And he gave me, I'm going to tell you one of the nuggets of wisdom he gave me yesterday. And just think about this. Only $300 billion, roughly about $300 billion in US dollar fiat value has been entered into and converted into Bitcoin in the space. Let that sink in. We have a market cap of over $1.4 trillion for Bitcoin, right? And with that, only $300 billion coming into the ecosystem has got us there. Do you understand how bullish that is? And we can see with this chart right here, we can see almost a third of that has come in the last 6 months alone. $86 billion. In this case, we're all the way up to $94 billion here total from institutions has come in the last in the last very short period of time. Can you imagine what's going to happen when we have that next $1 trillion come in? 300 billion with the exponential multiplier as the buying pressure comes in and you get price action moving up because demand cannot meet because supply cannot meet the demand. When we have this next trillion or 3 trillion or 10 trillion come into the market, the explosive factor on the Bitcoin price is something that we cannot even imagine. If you're not bullish right now, then you probably shouldn't be in this market. I'll say that, but definitely follow us for more so we can help you capture some of these profits that are going to absolutely change our lives if we are in the right positions. Now, when we think about this, I mean, remember, this is the start of something where we're already at in the market. And I'm going to start with some very bullish charts and we're going to get in, we're going to do some TA. We're going to break down some of these altcoins, some of the newer coins that I got, Pangolin. Wow, I didn't even notice this up today. We got to talk about Ocean. We got to talk about TIA. We got to talk about Stacks. All you let me know in the chat right now, other coins that I should be looking at. But we have to talk about this bullishness because this amount of buying pressure before the true bull run even gets started. This right here is all the bullish foundation. Yes, this is a bull run. This is a bull trend. Absolutely. But what we're talking about here, what we're talking about is this point right here, all this right here. And we are front running how bullish this market can be right now because of all this capital flow coming in. And we're about to have the halving, which is going to reduce the new supply by half also. So if you're not bullish, then I'm begging you to look at the data because we can see in previous cycles, this is 11, this is 2014, 2018, 2022, where we're at, basically this bottom and coming into this. You see the second half is the most bullish portion of this market. In 2013, we had this double top formation. Of course, we had a bit of a double top in the back here, the 64 and 69,000, but that was rounded. And this 2013 had a blow off top, sell off, and then into another blow off top. There's no telling what's going to come this cycle. What we know though is the likelihood of having this type of the exponential bullish portion of the bull trend has not even started yet. And the reason why this is so bullish is because when we look at this market, turn off all the colors, turn off all the lines, just look at the price action, and you tell me that you're telling me that the parabolic, let me say this real quick. You're telling me that the parabolic run on Bitcoin has not even started yet, even though look at this price action just going straight up into the right. I mean, straight up into the moon, straight up into the moon. And we have not even gotten to that portion of the market. We have not even gotten to that portion of the market. Where is it at? We have not even gotten to that portion of the market cycle where we've seen historically the exponential parabolic portion of the bull market really starts to explode. So if we're already seeing this, and we haven't even gotten to that point yet, can you imagine what's coming? I mean, I can't. All I can do is prepare and help make sure that you all stay prepared. So this is what we're looking at. When we have to consider though, along the way, there's going to be some roadblocks. So I brought this up on Discover Crypto, but I got to share it with you here too. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. There's over about $15 billion in options expiring tomorrow. All of you may have seen this. I'm going to tell you why this is important. It may do nothing to the price, but there's a lot of push and pull factors that are going to happen between now and tomorrow, because this is 15 billion. I believe this is the largest option expiry we've had, especially this is the first options expiry on a quarterly basis that is happening since institutions truly got heavily involved in Bitcoin. So with that being said, what does it mean? Well, on Friday, leading crypto options exchange Deribit will settle Bitcoin and Ether options contracts worth 9.5 billion and 5.7 billion respectively. Okay, what does this mean? The expiry will wipe out 40% and 43% of Bitcoin and Ether's total notional open interest across maturity. So what this means is these options, about 40% of open interest on options is going to be clear. So open interest is going to be basically, it's going to settle tomorrow, whether it's in loss or ITM, which is in the money. So when we're talking about that, what does it mean? Higher levels of in the money. This means a higher percentage of options that are in the money right now. They bet correctly and they're going to make some money on these options expiring, might lead to potential upward pressure or volatility in the underlying. So this is Bitcoin or Ethereum, what we're trading on exchange. So we're going to see some volatility very likely between now and tomorrow. Why is this? Yes, people bet high. Some people bet low. A lot of people are betting, maximum pain point for Bitcoin and Ethereum quarterly expiry is $50,000 Bitcoin and $2,600 Ethereum. The reason why this is important is because all these businesses that are offering the option to take options, right? Betting high or betting low, puts or calls, etc. They have to stay in business, and they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that they can set up their positions to hedge losses or hedge gains. So what does this mean? I'm going through this very quickly, hopefully in an understandable way, so you understand why this matters. Dealers, which are these exchanges and places that are offering the options, are short some 50 million gamma. This is basically, essentially, gamma is essentially the trades and positions that the institutions are taking to hedge the delta, hedge the positions that they're basically playing the opposite side and also taking advantage of what's going on in the market so they can hedge themselves. So dealers are taking some 50 million short some 50 million of gamma, with the majority focused at around the $70,000 strike. So as we near the expiry, this is the important part, that gamma position gets larger and the forced hedging will exacerbate volatility. Now, why is this? Because there's a lot of people that have options that are going to win and a lot of people that have options that are going to lose. And not all of them are going to be on the same exchange and not all going to be with the same distributors, etc. But what this means is these institutions that are providing this then go and they can see the spread. They can see what's going on with the price action, and they can go and hedge themselves by taking leverage, basically taking their own positions to either push price a certain way, support price, or even take advantage if they think it's absolutely going to fail to essentially hedge themselves by taking large positions in the market. So some of these institutions are going to trade one way, some are going to be hedging the other way, and so you're going to get this battle of volatility around this going on. In addition to them, you're going to have professional traders that are going to see this data and also be trying to make their bets about what direction those institutions are going to be trying to hedge. So you get a kind of multitude of volatility around what direction the price will go and the speculation about what's going to happen between now and then. So my point with all this is, when we have some volatility between now and tomorrow, don't shit your pants. It's all part of building the stair step to those gains. And if you want to make money in this market, you have to be confident in your position, and you also have to have the wherewithal to be consistently patient. And we all fail at this on a daily basis, but be patient, know what your plan is. And right now, if we do get, for me, and I cannot tell you this is financial advice, I could say for me, if I see dips, whether it's between now or over the next month or two, I am a net buyer. So let's look back at some of this other data that we're talking about, because yes, we have all this volatility potential, blah, 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 but what is going on here? We are mimicking that 2017 to 2020 cycle in multiple ways. Here's another example here in 2015 into 2017. This is 2 cycles ago. We had this rising channel, this rising bull trend. This is what I'm talking about. Yes, we have been in a bull trend, but we are just getting started. This part has not happened yet. We've just broken out of this channel and we're sitting right here. Are we ready to launch? Do you all think, I'm curious, everybody here right now, you had to bet your money, which means buying a trading position for the short term over the next 6 months. Do you think we are going to be up or down? If you're a BitLab member, drop the bull emoji if you think it's going up. If you think it's going to go down, throw in the bear emoji. But I would bet that we are setting up for an absolutely incredible bull run. Now, when we look at this on a time basis, it's from one of my good friends, Johnny King. I know him from years ago back doing music together, and he's also, much like me, very integrated in the crypto space for 6 or 7 years as well. But he shared this with me. I was like, man, my boy, this is such a good chart, because this shows us where we're at on the cycle on a macro basis, and that when you understand the macro, know this. When you understand the macro, you can be much more confident and calm in the midterm and the micro. When you understand this, you can see that on a regular basis, now this is a little bit shorter, a little bit longer, about the same length, and let's say we have somewhere between 700 and 1,200 days. There's no way we can know on this cycle, but the point is we're coming into the part of the cycle that we have gotten the most bullish portion of the market cycle for both Bitcoin and altcoins. And boy, do I have some altcoin charts I'm going to share with you in just a moment. So by the way, if you are here right now, if this is your first time, welcome to the show. My name's Kelly Kellum, and I'm just honored to have you here. This is the most positive spot in crypto, unbiased. We're just sharing tools, resources, and I would appreciate it if you would hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Somebody sent me a message yesterday. They were a member of the BitLab YouTube, and they realized they weren't even subscribed. Look down below your video right now. If it doesn't say subscribe, do yourself a favor and show the love to the community. Hit that subscribe button. So looking at where we're at right now on a time basis, we've had about a little over 1,000 days, 2 cycles in a row. If we get somewhere within that right now, we are just coming into that next gain to the upside. Now, Johnny gives a lot of context here, and also some debate or what's the word I'm looking for? Conversational sort of positive argument, I should say, about some things that Credible Crypto has said, and I love Credible Crypto. So you can read through this. I agree with some of the things Johnny said, and I disagree, and that's what this is about. We learn from each other and make our own determinations about what we think. Now, this suggests if we go up to the 3.618, like we did in the previous cycle, and remember, I am of the opinion that this previous cycle was cut a little bit short. Many people could argue a number of different things, but this previous cycle had a number of bearish divergences coming into this, but then also the Chinese mining ban that happened right here that basically sent this down. And then because this was short, nobody was willing to sell. And so the price ended up coming up and forming this sort of double top. But if we hit this 3.618 again, which would be somewhat out of context because we've reduced the amount of growth we've had in each cycle, but I think we'll be somewhere between the 2.618 and the 3.618. And this would be $239,000 Bitcoin if this plays out. But let's look at the conservative side and then also be aware of the bullish side. But let's just look at the time basis and realize that this halving is just coming up. And be patient with me here. We're about to get into some TA, but we got to just realize, especially before a day, or actually the next 2 or 3 weeks, some likely volatility and some institutions feeling like they missed the boat. And as TA Tim says, when institutions miss a boat, a lot of times they pull that boat back. What that would mean for Bitcoin is a potential drawdown in price. But this is a macro that we're looking at here. This time-based cycle, right, based on the 4-year cycle, as well as the fact that we're in an election year, as well as the fact that we're likely about to have an uptick in global liquidity, all things being the perfect storm for some of the best bullish behavior that we'll ever have. I think it's likely we'll get a super cycle this side and slightly exceed what we did in this cycle last because of this somewhat being suppressed. But it's yet to see. Maybe institutions take a lot of profit along the way once we get above 100,000 and the market doesn't go that much higher. We'll have to see. But on a time base, I'm using this as a reference, and I agree with him on how this is laid out. And this is what we're looking at, very simplified. We are at this most explosive part coming into it. Now, I've got a couple more charts. I already looked at that. Okay, right here, ETH, Ethereum, and we're going to get into TradingView here in a second and break this down, but let's look at the macro. Beautiful. Previous cycle peak, previous cycle peak. We have not hit that yet, meaning this next run-up has not yet occurred. There's been a massive upgrade that just occurred as well on Ethereum, which affected the entire ETH ecosystem and the layer 2s and everything. That's that Denkun upgrade. We've yet to fully realize how that's going to impact growth and adoption in terms of on that chain and the use and transactions and fees. And so there's a lot that's at play here. And it's also in a little bit of a drama right now with Coinbase and the SEC, and it could potentially be labeled as security, et cetera. We have to be aware of that. But on understanding this, we're just setting up for explosive growth. Now, do I think it's going to get up here to 26,500? I think that's a little hot. I think that's a little touch. Do you guys think it's going to get to 26,500 in this bull cycle? I think anywhere above 8,500. 8,500 to 15,000 is kind of the range I'm looking at. And if it goes beyond that, it's fucking fantastic, right? But we are setting up for some magic here. Now, when we look at the altcoins in general, look at where we're at. This is where we're at right here. Just out of this breakout, little move up. We are essentially right here on the altcoins. This is excluding Bitcoin. This is a total 2. We can see this is where we're at right here. And look at this move on the altcoins. And we've got some work to do. So let's go ahead and look at what we want to look at in these charts. Coming back here, there we go. All right. Now, this is where we're at right here. So we are getting the setup right now. Bitcoin is making a move to the upside. Why can I never see any of the data on the viewership? It just shows me no numbers. It just says chat rate 2. So I hope audio, visuals working. Hope you guys are enjoying what's going on. And by the way, join us here, man. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. Bitcoin had this run up. We had the rising wedge. We talked about, everybody's like, it can't go lower. It's so bullish. I said, well, let's mark out some targets. It hit every one of those targets that we had laid out on this chart on the way to the downside. And now, after breaking down from this, we found support and have basically formed this very bullish inverted head and shoulders. Let's get down to the 4-hour candles. Not only broke through this, but we came up, had this little bit of support here, and then this bull flag launched up essentially to the bottom side of this range here and came down, found support right in where this previous range top, previous rejection, support, rejection. And so now we came down and found support at a known level. When you're looking at the previous price action, it gives you a roadmap for likely areas for where the price can go. So now we have this bull flag. Now you can, if you want to, look at an old pattern, which we've already, look at this, but I'm not looking to this. I'm looking at this bull flag right here, which is essentially just like this, right? We measure this out. This is a flag right here, right? This is a flagpole. That target is up here at $77,000, $78,000. Now, am I going to go 100x long on this right now? No, because I know there's volatility likely to happen. In addition to this, I have to bring this up. BTC1. We can't forget this just because price is moving positive now. We cannot forget the fact that we have this zone right below us that I scribbled a hell of a lot yesterday. This zone down below us, which is this giant gap. You see this gap? There's a futures gap directly below. So let's move this down just a touch. Put a happy little box right here, a little Bob Ross box. This would basically represent the $64,300 to $66,000. Now, do I think this is going to get closed? I think we have a likelihood of it. The higher we go, the less likely I think it's going to be. But this, thinking about the $15 billion options expiry tomorrow would be a perfect scenario for this to wash out down here. Also because a lot of people are going to see that 50K pain point. I don't think we're going to 50K, but this could commit a lot of people to going short, AKA a bear trap, only to reverse and spring launch us up into 77, 80,000 and beyond. So let's be patient with what's happening with price right now. I would not be, because this is already broken out, I wouldn't be jumping into a leveraged long here. I'd be waiting for the opportunity you have to be bold when you're going to take trade, leverage trade moves on the market. And I don't take leverage trades in the middle of a green movement like this. I want to see a pullback on the 4-hour time frame. And then what I do is I come down here to the 1-hour time frame and I get more context. You see how this was breaking down? And then right here we get a smaller candle, then we get a doji candle here, potential reversal, and then we get some expansion, and then we start moving up. We come down and test this sort of zone right in here. This roughly would be where I would have taken this trade to the upside with there we go, with a tight stop loss somewhere in this range, kind of like this, and then you can take that trade based on the conviction. Why did I pick here? Because this was moving down. This showed a potential reversal. It moved up. Oh, you missed the move. No, I want some confirmation. Now we break down, we form a higher low, and then on this next candle, that would be my entry. That's just using candle patterns alone. Now, when we throw on the data and we look to the indicators, for instance, we're below the weekly VWAP here. We break above it, we come down, test it, and when we test the weekly VWAP and start moving away from it positive, this is telling me that the strong the market players are saying we want to move this price to the upside. Now, we're still on the BTC futures chart, but so we can look at the same thing here. Let's let this load. All right. In this case, it's a slightly different story, right? Because on this case, we're looking at this spot price action on Bitstamp. So we broke down, came up, rejected. Yeah, why? I feel like my charts. Oh, I'm on the 1 hour. That's why. I got very confused there for a second. So came down. Where are we at? Yeah. So we have the bull flag, channel to the downside. We come up, reject, come down under. So I would have put, this would have been a shot, but you have the bullish reversal signal right here on the BitLab trading stack and 2 bullish divergences right here as well. But we are finding support. We have a higher low. We're finding support on the 20 moving average ribbon right in here. And then right here, we have a little bit of hesitation. So on this chart, I would have waited until we cleared this previous range top right in here. And we found on this candle right here, we found support on the weekly VWAP. So because of this, I would go onto a smaller time frame, let's say 15-minute candles, and look for the potential. Okay, so here, this is clear. On the 15-minute candles, we also got the reversal here, and we are come up above the weekly VWAP. We come down, test it, and on this candle right here, this would be the entry. Boom. Now we have the bull flag that we broke out of. We have confirmations of that move, and we can ride that to Valhalla, right? But things are looking bullish in general right now, with the caveat that there are people out there that feel like they haven't gotten in, and there are potentials for this to just absolute nuke to the downside before launching back up. So I'm saying right now, on any volatility we experience between now and the halving, even a week or two after the halving, that I'm looking for buying opportunities. And if you buy and it goes lower, on Bitcoin specifically, I mean, it's just stronger buy. The lower it goes, the stronger buy it is. Now, when we come over here and we look at Ethereum, this is looking a little different. Yes, we kind of have this inverse head and shoulders too, but we also have this rising wedge that we're kind of trapped in right now. And this could be somewhat described by what's going on with a little bit of the regulatory kerfuffle with the Coinbase case and all these things going on there. Now, what I'd like to see is this hold here, but these rising wedges do tend to break bearish, okay? If this does break bearish, then I'd definitely be watching this level right here, this 33.60, but I think we would hold support somewhere more like right in here, because we have this low here, We have this bouncing in this region, this rejecting in this region. So if this does come down to this level, I'd be watching that $3,400 level. If we lose it, then of course this macro level that we've had for many months. Is this not on logarithmic? There we go. I was wondering why that looks so funny. There we go. There we go. I'd be watching for this level directly below us, 3,400. And if we lose this, then I'd be looking for it testing down somewhere in this region. Hopefully the top side of this order block that's printed here with the BitLab volume, which is roughly 32.72. Now, remember, we still have this ETH ETF that potentially could happen. There's been some FUD around it, though, because of this lack of clarity about what the SEC wants to do regarding the securities designation. There's a potential the ETH ETF doesn't happen, which in some ways may leave Bitcoin running faster for longer than ETH. And we can see this represented on the ETH to Bitcoin chart. What am I talking about? On this chart, if you don't know, when you look at your coin, smashing the like is the fastest way to God candle. Prove me wrong. Falco with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But when you're looking at the pairings to Bitcoin, ADA, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, anything to Bitcoin, if this is going down, this means Bitcoin is outperforming that asset. If this is going up, then this means this is outperforming. It's making more profits than Bitcoin. So what we're seeing right now, and we're going to get into this thing about Altseason in a second, this is very important because there's some things at play that a lot of people are not recognizing. Looking at this white line. What is this white line? This white line, which is representative of about 2,676 days, roughly 7 years or something like that. This has been support. And look at where we're at right now. We are dancing with, some interesting behavior breaking below this 7-year trend line. Now, this can be somewhat explained by the fact that ETH, as big as it is, just got tapped for these Bitcoin spot ETFs, which has sent a disorienting amount of new capital into Bitcoin. Now, does this mean this is going to be irrelevant now? Irrelevant now? No, it doesn't mean that. We just need to pay attention to what is going on here, because this may suggest that ETH may still be bleeding against Bitcoin for some time, unless we sort of bounce in this region and start, even chopping sideways, but start moving back up. We got to keep an eye on this, because when we look at this chart right here, this is our altcoin starting line. I did a short on it this morning, and this is what we're looking at right here. Look at this beautiful structure. This is the total 3. This is the altcoin market. It's basically everything in crypto minus Bitcoin minus ETH. And look at this bullish behavior coming, just pushing to the upside beautifully. Shout out to Mackie Powers, $2. So what's your number one pick for RWA tokens? You know what? I don't know. My number one pick for RWA tokens, I think there's some good ones out. I have Ondo. I've heard a lot of people talking about Goldfinch. I'm going to have to look into that one. I don't have any. I haven't done much research on it, but I've seen a lot of people I respect talk about it. So I'm going to look at that. But surprisingly, this might come to a surprise, but realize that any layer 1 asset, Bitcoin soon, Ethereum, which is probably not going to be because it's too expensive gas, Polygon, which is a layer 2, but these smart contract platforms in general have the ability to be real world asset tokenization. AVAX, I have some sneaking suspicion that AVAX is going to take a pretty heavy role in that ecosystem, as well as Chainlink. People sleep on Chainlink, but Chainlink is mentioned and talked about by Larry Fink. They're also been doing work with Swift, and they also have one of the best RWA sort of architectures to integrate. So I think there's going to be some major players, and I think there's going to be some very fast risers from those microcaps. And we can, that's a great question though. Altseason starting line, this is what we're looking at right here. We've had a huge growth, but this has had a bit of a pullback. Coming back up, we have a cup and handle here. See this nice cup, little handle here. So if we look at this, and this isn't going to give you a price target because this is an index of the altcoin market. We can see essentially, and some coins are going to die, some coins are going to explode. This is why this doesn't show a huge gain. A 19% gain is massive. This 19% gain is $140 billion in this altcoin market. This would represent massive gains for a huge number of altcoins. Once we start breaking through this, it's going to be some really interesting price action on these different coins that we've been holding. And we talk about AVAX first because we just talked about that. You know, this went all the way down to, what did this go down to? This went all the way down here to under $8, or sorry, under $9, $8.60, $8 in this range. Did any of you guys and gals buy AVAX under $10? I had a bunch. I had to take some profits when I moved, but I got back in. This is where I got back in. No, I missed the move. No, I mean, if you think about it, I took some profits. When did I take profits? I took profits over here. Yeah, and then it dropped. And so this has risen. I didn't get that low. Great. The basically bull flag here, and on the basically breakout of this bull flag, this is where we entered here on February 7th. And this has been up. Now it is looking like it's struggling a little bit, but the struggle for a coin, meaning it's not just performing incredibly, means you still have opportunity. You have opportunity to get into it. Now this wasn't a rising channel. It broke down, got rejected, broke down, got a little deviation, rejected. What we're watching for on AVAX for bullishness is this breaking through this trend signal line that it's been rejected from once, now twice, but not just this. This could be a fake out if this breaks bullish and gets rejected here at this weekly VWAP, which currently is at 56. We want to see the price action overtake this weekly VWAP and come back and test it. What do I mean? He's a great, so we lost it here, came back, tested it, boom. See what I mean? While we are below it, we have a higher likelihood of rejecting at it until the bullish narrative overtakes this coin. Now, this could take a news story, this could take the market ripping in general, etc. But we can see that there was a huge amount of selling pressure right here on this 2 hour, on the 4 hour candle as well. Large selling spike right here. We could tell by this volume candle. But if we do lose this level, look, we are having higher lows. We do lose this level. Then I would expect that the price action would likely come back into this zone right in here, about the $50 range. And if we lose that, then I think likely be coming down here into the mid 40s. But I'm leaning more bullish on stuff. I'm watching for quick moves on the course of a day, a move down potentially, and then a move to the upside, because this does show bearish characteristics. But the bullishness of this market, if the market starts moving up, these things will also launch with it. So let's watch this weekly VWAP. We also, what did I say? I was going to look at render. I also saw a couple of you mentioned a couple other things. SBF gets 25 years, better than 5 to 10 that was discussed. So is that the news? Let me go ahead and come over here. Let's look at that together, just because that's going to be a major talking point of everything going on. Let's see. Sam Bankman-Fried. 25 years. All right. So he got 25 years. Meanwhile, JP Morgan and all these other banks that have $30+ billion in fraud fines and stuff over the last 15 years, they're the ones that get the dub if Bitcoin is criminal or not. It's absolutely a disgrace what our banking system does. Our banking system is there to extract our money and make select people richer. Throw 1 in chat if you agree with that. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying, is that the general consensus? Let's be honest. I mean, it's just sad. Render, look at this. Up, whipsaw, basically moved down, whipsaw up, back down, sideways. Remember, there is $40 billion. I can type it in right here. 40 billion Saudi Arabia AI. Saudi Arabia is launching a $40 billion, doesn't matter, I thought that was an article, not a video, a $40 billion plan to push artificial intelligence this is going to spill over also into other things, not just them, other companies, other integrations. And we just saw that massive merger yesterday with Fetch, Ocean, and AGIX. Render is a part of this narrative as well with their graphics processing. Remember, you need graphics processing and very powerful computing to handle these AI models. And so Render has some ties with NVIDIA as well. And so this did have a little bit of a, huge, not a little, a wonderful push from its low. I mean, look at this. I mean, this has performed beautifully. Golly. Look at this. Got down to 40 cents. 40 cents. And look at it now. It's up here at 11.32. This is where we got into it. Look at this. Rise up. We had a little bit of a shelf. Bought. And I want you all to know, when I bought all these altcoins, I shared this all with you on stream and in the BitLab Discord, exactly what I was doing, where I was doing it, why I was doing it. But I shared that, let's actually go back. I think it's in the Kelly Alpha channel right here. I share a lot of stuff in here, Ali. But I shared February 7th. There's a macro chart, this right here. This is what I was looking at. This altcoin chart showing the base, a little bit of a breakout. Yeah, the base, a little bit of a breakout consolidation, and that's the launch. The base, a little bit of breakout consolidation, then launch. The base, a little bit of consolidation, then launch. I bought every coin looking at 0 TA on any of the coins other than this macro chart, showing you all that you can look at and understand where you're at in a market cycle and just take your picks for the coins that you want to be stacking into your portfolio. So this is where on that day, literally, on February 7th, I sat at my computer and I was like, okay, I want this, 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 I want this. Now, if you're trading, that's not the way to do it. If you're looking to stack positions for your alt portfolio, it's fine. And we can see Render. Look at this entry. Look at the Cardano entry we got. Cardano entry was even, I mean, it was just, look at this. Boom, this is where we bought. Launched to the upside. We could see Cardano, it's had this broadening wedge, broke down. Now it's kind of trapped in this zone. I do think when this sends, it's going to absolutely launch. This gets pent up, and once it goes, it goes. I actually shared a tweet from, I don't remember who it was from, but I shared it this morning or yesterday. Where's it at? Here we go. The code jar. And we can see this is what we saw back here in 2020. Push up, a little bit of consolidation, launch. Push up. Oh my God, it's not doing anything. No, your patience is not serving you. Don't come here with that bullshit. Don't get in a chart and be like, oh, it's not moving. No, look at the data. Sometimes you got to be patient. Sometimes other horses run faster than other horses. You can set up your portfolio to make sure you have exposure to different types of assets that also allows you to ride these different things. Don't jump between different assets. You could take profits from one, rotate it into one that hadn't moved, like we did with Aerodrome. Free money that I rotated into Velodrome, and now Velodrome, 3 days ago, now Velodrome's up. What is it up? Let's see. 24-hour change. So it would be, yeah. So we're up $1,400 on this. Gotta be more than that. Did I put 1,500? I might have put 1,500. I put it, yeah, but this is free money. I took profits from one asset. I didn't have to put new capital in the market, rotated into this 3 days ago, and it's up. So Cardano, we're watching this zone here, the 61 cent zone. This is a pretty, this level, all this here, support right in this range. If we lose this, then we may be getting really good opportunities on Cardano. If we're able to push up, again, we're really looking for clearing above this weekly VWAP and then clearing not only this rising level of now resistance that is now confluent with where this trend signal line. So we're right in this dynamic, that's why we call it this dynamic resistance zone that's shaded. See how it shades? We're getting a lot of confluence of resistance pinching into this area. So if we can clear this, then we may be making move back up. I want to get back to Render because I didn't really do TA on it. So we have this base right here. We have this base right here. If this does lose this base, I expect the price action will likely move a bit further down. Let's go ahead and do a Fibonacci here. That's going to be just a rough Fibonacci. So the 382 is right in the same zone. So if we do lose this, we're losing the 382. The next level down would be this golden pocket down here at this basically $8.60, $8.70 sort of zone. But that's if we get the pullback. If this does hover sideways here and then break, look at this, we're sitting right on the VWAP. It means we're intrinsically a little bit more bullish. If we can hold this and break through this trend signal line right here, essentially at $11.99, $12, then we're on pace to take out this range high, which is at 1365 sort of zone, and we'll likely be in store for another leg up. Let's look at Ocean. Where is Ocean? Ocean. So I want to point this out on all three of these coins: Fetch, AGIX, and Ocean. We also have it here. I didn't draw it on here, but I'll just show you. Fetch. Okay, it broke out because of the news, right? It broke out because of the news. Okay, say you don't know the news. Say you don't know the news. When did that break out? That broke out yesterday, right? Which was it 2 days ago or yesterday? But either way, it was somewhere in this. It was somewhere in this zone here. Before that happened, what was going on? We have this massive bull flag that was here. In addition to the bull flag, we get down to the 2-hour time frame, we have an inverted head and shoulders. Now it's quite ugly, but we're having this dip down, larger dip down, smaller dip down, which means we're also established a higher low. We have a bull flag. And so this was signaling the bulls were coiling up to make a move already. And then we got a slight breakout, and then the news happened. Okay, same thing on AGIX. Push up, breaking down in a broadening wedge, which is a bullish formation. They tend to break bullishly. We have the higher low right here. We have a reversal signal right here. This was Saturday. This is all the way back in Saturday. We're already forming the foundation for this to potentially push higher. Price action pushes through this weekly VWAP, comes down, finds support on the trend signal line, now slices through this. We break through this upper resistance of this broadening wedge. We consolidate here and then push through this weekly VWAP, find support, and launch. This was all before the news occurred. My point being is, it's not always the news. Sometimes also, if the news is coming, you will see the setup for the news in the chart. Well, how the hell could that be? Because there's people out there, whether or not they should or shouldn't, that have understanding of inside information of what's coming. So you'll see those buying pressures in the market, and that will start to trickle out. Other people will start to become aware. Other people will start to see the moves somebody else is making without even having the inside information, but they're seeing, key data. And so you'll start seeing it breed into the chart before the news occurs. We see the same thing on Ocean. Push up into this. Look at this. Washout, launch. Now we're coming down. We have this sort of inverted head and shoulders here. Similar, even if you don't look at this like an inverted head and shoulders, you can look to this as these moves to the downside. Strong move back up, stronger move down, and then it comes right back to equilibrium. And we have a higher low here with the W formation. The price action cuts through the weekly VWAP, finds support on it, and then breaks out, consolidates, holding above the weekly VWAP, and then launches. So the market's been telling us, we haven't looked at CELO in a while, CELO. Now, this is, giant W formation here with the W formation. Look at this, W here, larger W, and a W here. The bulls are trying to make the moves. Bears are trying to bring it down, but the bulls are defending levels, defending level. Now we have higher lows here. Now we break through the weekly VWAP. This yellow line, I'm going to call it the magic line, man. Somebody put a comment down below. He's like, stop saying VWAP. You sound so stupid when you say VWAP. You know what? Get the hell off this channel if you think like that, because if you don't know what the VWAP is and you don't understand what I'm doing anyway, it's the volume weighted average price. It's a wonderful way to look at what big money players are doing. And also if we're in a positive bullish spread or a bearish negative spread. And when we see the price interaction and supports or resistances in relationship to this yellow line, we know what direction, who's in charge, the bulls or the bears. And so look at this. W formation, higher lows, we break through it. Look at this. We test down to the VWAP and boom, find support and then launch. Now we come back across, find support. We're at an intermediary point right now, whether we can push up or not. As it stands right now, this does look a little bit like a bull flag. It's a very choppy though. So I'm not going to take the trade on this, but the target on this will be up here at $1.65. But this is looking a little choppy. And if the market does move to the downside, what we'd be looking at is a move down to essentially $1.19 right here. Why? Previous range high, all this chop over here. So we see a lot of interaction at this level. This is kind of irrelevant over there. So it'd be kind of in this zone here. We have support here, rejection right about there, rejection at it, support here. Look at this. The wick, I didn't even notice that wick bounced right on it. So if we come down and lose this, then we can look to the next level down. This order block, $1.11. ORDS, we haven't looked at ORDS in a while. ORDS, going to be, everybody's waiting on the BRC20 narrative. When it goes, it's going to go. Sometimes you got to be patient. I've added to this a few times. I may add more to it. I may not. But this is our average entry, I think, right here. Where is ORDS? ORDS, average entry 1723. We're down $500, which is fine. Because this is a micro cap. It's going to be choppy until it launches. And then it's just like, it's like a paper plane getting shot out of a cannon. That's what happens when you have micro caps. They're going to be choppy. They're going to scare you, which is why you don't put everything in them. You put small percentages of your portfolio, calculated percentages of your portfolio. And so this has come down, fell through the golden pocket here. It's been chopping in this zone. It's almost like my level that, the average entry here, 1723. Once we get back above this, it's also going to be, look at this inverted head and shoulders, which is kind of invalidated here. Now we have a bit of a cup and handle. It's just a waiting game right now with this ERC20 narrative. PNG is another one that I got right here. And look at this. Boom. We have the higher lows. W formation comes down, tests where? Right about this range high right here. See? Now launch, comes back down. We have a higher low yet. A little bit of an inverted head and shoulders here as well. We're finding support, chopping around the weekly VWAP, but then we do come back up and then absolutely, start really making moves. This is a DEX on Pangolin. But things are looking good. Things are feeling good. Really, they are. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Let's look at SEI before we go. We haven't looked at SEI lately. We're kind of in this sort of range defined by this range, this lower range. And we're currently sitting above the weekly VWAP, but this is starting to look a little weak. So if we lose this, I think we're going to be coming down here into the 82 cents range. Next level down would be about 79 cents. But if we're able to push up into this box, this 89 to 92 cent range, if we can clear this, then I think we're actually going to be starting a very strong move on SEI. And then let's look at stacks because we haven't looked at stacks. Nice move up. Boom. Kind of a rounding top here. We lost this level, came up and rejected on it, came down. So what we're waiting on stacks is for it to clear this 346 range. This trend signal line, which is basically creates a region between 346 and the weekly VWAP right here at 352. If we can clear that, we're not out of the woods. We still have to contend with this trend line right here. If we can clear that, we really need to clear this box, this general box. This is an important box right here. If we can get up and clear this box, then we can start talking about 374 and beyond. If we get the opportunity, BRC20 narrative is going to be strong. I'm telling you, if we get the opportunity with a lower price, meaning this gets rejected here and comes down, great. We can look at this zone right here, this previous range top, this range low. So it's really right about where this yellow line is, which would be a great entry here at $3. I would be adding more. I'm actually thinking about adding some stacks today. So I'll let you guys know in the Discord if that's so. By the way, I got to say it. Oh, you know what we have to look at? We forgot. How many of you guys out there hold DOT? We got to look at DOT because I know DOT's been having, we got to look at DOT though, because DOT's been having some incredible developer activity. They have a wonderful ecosystem And their chart is starting to shape up to show that there's going to be some really good opportunities here. And I feel like we've been kind of ignoring DOT a little bit, and no reason whatsoever. So let's jump into the DOT chart and talk about what's going on there. DOT, let's look at DOT on crypto DOT Binance. All right, let's look at the macro here, get an idea of what's going on with DOT. So let's turn off all the indicators, looking just at price action alone. We can see we had a similar double top here like we had on Bitcoin, and then huge sell-off. Let's call these sell-offs on projects like Polkadot, which have been developing and nonstop building on their ecosystem and have so many people. They have such a strong community. When I see these bear markets, like we saw on Bitcoin or Ethereum, when we see these bear markets, this is called an entry to opportunity to be able to layer in at a better price. When you know that they're building, but the speculative price is dropping, that means somebody is looking at the wrong data. And this obviously presented a wonderful opportunity down here. And you saw how far Bitcoin's already broken its previous all-time high. This is still, if we measure this out, DOT is still, even at this peak here, is still, oh my, it's a 400% away from its all-time high. And we've seen once Bitcoin runs, we start to get a capital rotation into other projects. And DOT is one of those projects that is building a great amount of things on their market. And we have such a bullish structure down here. Some could call it an inverted head and shoulders. Some could call this a cup and handle. Some could call this a rounding bottom. Whatever you want to call it bullish, because we have formed the bottom. We have already had this breakout with the dip confirmation of this breakout to the upside. So this is being held hostage a little bit right now by what's going on with where we're at in the market cycle, the uncertainty about price action in the crypto market as a whole surrounding the halving that's coming up, whether or not we're going to get a large sell-off or not. But regardless, with strong projects like DOT, like Link, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, strong projects, when you see a pullback, you ask yourself at what point you want to take advantage of that opportunity. So right now, we're still well under essentially this base that we've created. The true bull run on DOT has not even started yet. So when we're looking at where this can go, we can see that we've already started this breakout. And there's a couple ways we can measure this. We can look to this measure from this basically neckline. That's very sideways. There you go. From this neckline to the base, this target right here, we already had it drawn, would be all the way up here, basically in the $20 to $22 range. And on our chart, we have an order block here where there's a lot of liquidity interest, which is back here for the $23 to $24 range. So somewhere in this range, we can create a target. This does not mean this will be the top for DOT. This suggests in the near future, this is going to be a stopping point, that there's going to be a little bit of profit taking, AKA the price action may consolidate or dip a little bit, also known as another opportunity to DCA into this, because I do think that this is going to perform well. When we look at where it can go, let's go to the weekly chart, double click here. Okay, when we look at where this can go, we can draw this out, option F, Fibonacci, from the top to the bottom, and we can see first level, which I feel like is a foregone conclusion, is looking here to this 1.382. It's $153. That I think is going to be conservative. I think we can be somewhere in the, I would say $100 would be a strong bet as to where DOT could go. But $152 to $292, this is at the 1.618. But so let's be a little more conservative, okay? Even if we just got back to the previous all-time high, which is up here at the $56, $57 range, that would still represent, we just already did it. That's from where we're at now, that would represent a 5X just to the previous all-time high. So let's go over to, let's come over here. Let's go into DOT. DOT has an incredible team of people that have been working nonstop developing on this. We're at about $13 billion market cap. Okay, but so let's just get a general view as to what's going on. Huge amount of gains that could happen between here and all-time high. But what does the market cap look like? We still, even with the market cap, based on the token distributions, there's still a huge way to go before we even hit the previous all-time high on market cap. I'm bullish on DOT. DOT is, it's showing that it hasn't run as far as some of the coins that have already run. And we also know, based on that altcoin, the total market cap of all altcoins chart that I showed you before, which is this one right here, we can see that we're only getting to the point. Let's get down to the 2 hour, 4 hour. Here we go. We're only getting the starting line. This is the base. This is okay. There's confidence coming back into the market. This right here, confidence coming back into the market. This is where that explosive growth really starts to take effect in the market. And I think DOT's something that is a very strong blue chip coin to have in your portfolio. So let me know if you're holding DOT. What price did you get in on yet? And if not, if you're waiting to get in, what price are you looking to get in on DOT? You can find DOT. Where can you find DOT at? To find out where you find any coin, come to CoinMarketCap, type in the coin, and then once it comes up, put it on your watch list right here with the star. And any coin, there's no need for you to ask YouTubers. There's no need for you to ask people in Discord. That do the work yourself. Come in here, type in the asset, and then just click markets. You can get it on eToro, Binance, HTX, Bybit, Coinbase, OKX. You can get it basically everywhere. There's 377 places you can get it. So it's one of those coins I think it's definitely worth looking at. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Love doing these streams with you all. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Let me know what coin you'd like me to look at a little more in depth next, and we will do that. It was nice breaking down DOT. I've had a lot of questions about it, and I'm glad we can give a little more information on it. I love you all. I appreciate you. Hope you all have a wonderful day. I got to run. Adios, muchachos. Check out lab.bitlabacademy.com/Josh. Get in our community. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Still got this deal going on. 30 days free for our premium community. We give trade signals, chart breakdowns, member streams, watch lists, exact moves I'm doing in my portfolio. This deal is going to be going away in a very near future when we break the all-time high again. So take advantage of it. 30 days free, and then you get locked in at the lowest price we've ever asked. And it helps keep the BitLab community going. It's a great way to support. I love you guys. Adios.